All right, guys, this is the last episode of Alien August. I'm so excited. This episode was so much fun. In fact, it was so fun that our initial recording of this episode is over 3 hours. Yutaka and I talked for that long about Alien. And yes, there are so many tangents that I could not make this a 3 hour public episode. I just couldn't do it. It's like an hour and 20 minutes in the public version, but that's too much, guys. I'm sorry. But I couldn't bring myself to not have those amazing tangents. Oh, we go all over the place, guys. And that's got to be somewhere. So it is. It's on my Patreon. And for $3 a month, you get movie reviews, extended episodes, extra stuff that I work hard on. And to thank you guys for directly supporting me, if you want to support this show, Patreon is the best way to do it. Only $3 a month. You get this amazing 3 hour episode. I hope you enjoyed this hour and 20-minute version of it. But yeah, I appreciate you guys. I'm excited to talk about Alien forever, but definitely this month has been so much fun. And yeah, enjoy the episode.
Death has come to your little town, Sheriff.
Have you ever felt a knife cut through human flesh and scrape the bone beneath?
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Be my victim.
You are all my children now.
Hello, my name is Austin Torres, and welcome to the Would You Die podcast, the show where we talk about our favorite horror monsters and villains. Today, I am joined by someone who, and I hate to say it, might be a bigger Alien fan than myself. He is an awesome horror YouTuber, podcaster. He does it all. Please welcome my friend, Yutaka Tamanaha.
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm excited to talk about
I'm
this.
so excited too. And today's topic, I kind of alluded to it a little bit. This whole month, we've been doing what I call Alien August. So if you've been with us since the beginning of the month, we've talked about Alien, we've talked about Aliens, we've talked about Alien Romulus, and now it's time for an episode about the whole franchise, the Xenomorph in its entirety, and covering this 45 years of this great franchise is going to be so much fun. Before we start talking about Alien, I gotta know, how did you first start getting into horror?
Well, I make no secret that my favorite movie of all time is Alien. And that is because it's the first movie I remember seeing. I say this a lot, but it's true. I remember where I was, how old I was, what was going on. It was like nighttime. I was 6 years old. I was sitting in my living room. My parents were in the kitchen cooking chili and rice, and I was watching Alien. Should I have been? No, I'm 6 years old. But I kept watching, and it terrified me so much, and I loved it. And it was at that moment, though, that I really that's what actually really created my love for movies. So that's why I always will. I mean, I think also Alien's just a magnificent film, but then I will always credit Wes Craven as to why I love horror, because so many of his films really just resonate with me, and he's really reinvented the genre. He reinvented the genre so many times, which, and again, there are greats like Carpenter, who I also adore, but like that's who, like, I always was a big Freddy. I'm still a huge Freddy fan. Scream, all that stuff. So that's really why I love horror. But if anything, why I even considered the whole genre or movies in general, it's because of the movie Alien. And so there are specific moments I can remember of seeing certain films and knowing exactly where I was or what the situation was. Like, I remember being 13 years old, not the opening weekend, maybe it was second or third weekend, and I saw Scream. My older sister took me to see it. And that really effed me up bad because I was like, oh my God, this could really happen, you know. And it's so I love that. It's my favorite. I love being scared, but I also think I mean horrors for the outcasts, the misfits. And I think it's a genre that is often looked down upon, but I also think it's the easiest way, in my opinion, to really get good social commentary without
Oh yeah.
like browbeating you. You know, like I love horror for all those things. Alien Romulus was like everyone knows I go gaga for Terrifier. It just is what it is. Art the Clown's my man. I love him. And I'm so excited for Terrifier 3. But Romulus was my most anticipated film
Oh me
of the
too.
year. Like it's all I was thinking about because the second they dropped that trailer, I was like, "Oh my God." You know, well we'll talk more about the series,
Yeah.
but I was like it looks and it like the look and feel is so alien. I was like, "Oh my, whoa." I was like, "Hold I," and so like I was so excited. And it's still in my tops. I mean, another film just actually kind of surpassed it because it came out of nowhere and hit me over the head
I
like it
love
was just
movies like that.
ridiculous. So that's my plug for everybody to go see Strange Darling. Go in blind, just go in blind.
I need to see it. I need to see it still. I'm hoping by the time this episode airs, I would have already seen it. I don't know anything about it. I
And
just
don't.
hear it's
I'm just
cool.
gonna tell you, go in. It's like when Barbarian came out and everybody's like, don't look up the
I'm
trailer,
so
don't do
glad.
anything, don't let anybody spoil it for you, just go see it. And if you leave it and you still didn't like it, that's cool. But I guarantee you're still gonna take away something like that's unique, that's fresh. I really enjoy that. So that's all I'll say is it really it's that's in my top three. It may be top two. I'm still trying to think my list right now, and I'm sure it'll change over the course of the rest of the year. But that movie, like, just blew me away. So,
All
and
I know,
it's a
yeah.
horror psychological thriller.
Oh
So,
yeah.
yeah, it's good.
All I know is it's of the genre. My friends who get to see movies early, earlier than I do, uh, all seem to really like it, and it has two actors that I really, really like.
Yeah. So, had it not been for Strange Darling, I probably been like, oh my gosh, Romulus is one of my favorites of this year. It's still well, it still is, but
Yeah.
I think that this might have kind of that might have just like oof, and I just did not see that coming. So I enjoy that though because I mean my favorite villain is the Joker of all time. That's my favorite
Okay.
villain of all time. Marvel, DC, anything. I'm a Marvel stan, but when it comes to
Mhm.
villains, nobody tops the Joker in my book. But I don't
So I
also
got a
need to see the
question.
Joker in every single thing as well. They're like, you know,
Right.
but I
So
will
when you
say,
say
yeah.
villain, where do you kind of count like monsters in that? Are monsters their own category? Are
If
like,
we're in comic book lore, I'm
oh, we're just
truly
talking
mean.
comics. Okay.
Yeah,
I thought you
just
meant like
comics.
all
No,
media.
no, 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 comics. Just
Okay.
comics. Just comics. Comics. That's I'm just really when people talk about when they talk about comic books and they talk about their
Okay.
favorite
I thought you meant all
favorite
media. So
hero.
I was
That
like, where's
no,
the
no, I wouldn't even know
xenomorph
where to
kind of?
start with that. Oh,
Because
I
I'm
mean,
about to
it's
say
my
the
favorite.
xenomorph has
It's
to be up
well,
there.
I mean, it's my favorite. Well, honestly, it's probably the face hugger because that thing from Rom,
Mm-hmm.
like that thing always terrified me. Always. I think the xenomorph is one of the coolest. But I
Oh,
think the face huggers, just because that is very frightening, because I hate spiders and they remind me a lot of them.
yes.
And I like ooh. And so I think that they're the most terrifying and just the way they move and the way they're just vicious, even though they have a
Yes.
very short lifespan. I love it. And the way they typically get introduced. So they're absolutely ooh. Okay. Shoot. But where do I put Godzilla in there? Damn.
Godzilla's always got to be up there.
Damn.
Godzilla.
Like he's got it. Ooh. Oh God. My ancestors will murder me if he's not my favorite. Especially after Godzilla minus one.
I love when Godzilla's bad. I don't know why, but I just love it.
Ooh, I was so happy to. Oh my God, Godzilla -1 was just and just see the people who made it to be so happy at how it was received. I
I
love it.
know. Oh, when it won the Oscar for visual effects,
I
and
was
everyone
so
like, ah,
yes.
I was at like a little Oscar watching party, and I jumped up with them. I got nothing to do with it other than I'm just a fan, but I
I
jumped
was
up.
so happy for them. I just remember them releasing the video of them watching the nominations and when they got
Yes.
nominated, how just I love that. I really do. Like that it speaks volumes, honestly. And I think
Mhm.
that's another, there was a lot of great because the creators another film that had some really impressive visual effects. So it's really cool though when you see something and I don't know, it was not something I think anybody really it was not on anybody's minds. And then the movie came out and the word of mouth and people actually saw it and like this is incredible. It makes me very, very, I was so happy. And I'm always for, I mean, I love when you get out of your comfort zone and you watch a subtitled film because
Yeah.
I think it's Bong Joon-ho, who like there's so much you can see out of the confine, like there's so much you can do and see and experience if you're just willing to get out, like, you know, willing to watch a subtitled film. There's just
Yeah.
you expand your horizons.
You really open up your world.
Oh yeah, like same thing when Parasite won. I think everybody was hoping. So
So I completely agree 100% with that. Um, and I think we should probably just dive straight into Alien. There's two ways we could do this.
okay.
We could go in chronological order of the film's release, or we can go by your personal ranking.
Oh, I'm not prepared for ranking. Let's go release.
Let's do
Let's do
release.
that.
Let's do release.
Oh, I
I
haven't had
I
to.
just had the idea. I
I
for
don't know it by hand
transparency,
by heart because I'd have to think and
for sure.
I know
For
like the
transparent,
top
yeah.
three. I mean that's
Okay.
actually changed now. I know my top three, but if we go and release, then we can touch on each of them
Yeah.
because like
For transparency for the listeners, we did not talk about that at all. I just sprung that on Yutaka. He was not prepared at all.
I
That was
was
me
not. No, I
being a
would
horrible
had I known it
podcast
was a
host.
ranking, I would have. I will say, had I known you wanted to
I
do a
just came
ranking,
up
I would
with
have
it.
thought about it a little bit more because I there's a couple I would go back and forth. I'll tell you right now, I know what's at my top and I know what's at my bottom. Well, actually, I
Yeah,
know my top three and I know my least favorite, two least
that's
favorite.
fair. The only reason why I'm so fresh on it is I feel like I just had to make my own so I can because everyone's asking me. So I'm like, okay, and
You know what? By the end of the podcast, I could tell you my ranking for sure.
then we'll save our rankings for the end. I'm interested to say if I say the same because earlier this week, last week for everyone listening, I did the live stream with Bobby and Mike from the People Under the Scares. I know you're friends with them as well, so I had to do my rankings there. I think I'm going to say the same thing I did last week, but I'm not actually sure. So if I change it up, call me out, people. Call me out for being a flip flopper. But no,
Hey, you never know. If you rewatch something, you'd be
sometimes
like,
you do,
wait.
or you think about it a bit more.
That's why I'm
Um,
like, I'd have to think about this.
I will say, I don't think there's a bad Alien film.
I,
I truly, I will stand by what I said. I like
okay.
them all for different reasons.
Are we including Alien vs. Predator 2 Requiem?
Here's the thing. I actually have not seen that movie in years.
Oh, that's good.
I can't honestly say if it was good or bad because I remember parts of it. All I can remember is I'm just gonna place it last.
Yeah,
But
fair.
I
That's
can't
fair.
fairly say it's bad. Because
Okay, fair.
I remember being like, oh yeah, that movie's so bad. But I'm like, do I actually think it's bad? Or am I just, parroting what other people have said? Because I
If
truly
you can
don't
remember
remember.
actually seeing it because it was so dark.
And that's like another thing. So I'm like,
If
I
you
remember the
watch
Fred
it,
alien
it's
being
still
cool as
like,
fuck.
yes, absolutely. But that second movie was ass compared
Is
to
it
the
from the
first one.
Yeah, but am I thinking of the movie, or am I thinking of like playing with the toy when I was like, you know what I mean?
I can tell you, I remember leaving the theater after the second one, and I was like, I was really like, they're not making another one because this was
Yeah,
horrible. And
you were
it
right.
did terrible at the box office. And I was just like, and I think a lot of it was because they wanted it to be rated R, so they could do more gore. Because I think the first one wasn't, I believe that was
It's
PG-13.
PG-13. Yeah,
And I was like, you should have stuck with that model because I feel like you would have done a lot more better with it. Because I don't mind it. I mean, sure, I'm a whore for gore, but if you're gonna give it to me, it better be good. And that
yeah.
was not good. It was, oh, it was so bad. Just,
So I think
so
we
there
can.
y'all go. That's my least favorite.
Mine too, but like I said, there's an asterisk. I'm pretty confident it's my least favorite, but I need to rewatch it, but I just haven't had the chance yet. I rewatched all of the main Alien films.
Okay.
I didn't rewatch AVP or AVP2, but I know AVP.
Mm-hmm.
That movie I know like the back of my. People will get mad with how high it is in my rankings, but fuck them.
Okay.
I should not say fuck the audience. That's a horrible podcast. I'm being such a bad podcaster today. The audience knows I love them. I kid, I tease, and it's just opinions. They're not.
Mm-hmm.
If someone comes up to me and is like, "Your opinion's trash," I'm like, "Yeah, you're right. It's an opinion."
I mean, we're all entitled to our own opinions. That's the beauty of it.
What are kind of your general thoughts on this masterpiece?
You know, when I think of, honestly, if anybody refers to the term atmospheric horror, my first thought is Alien. It sets so much in terms of the tone with you are cut off from everybody in a sense. You are also in these tight corridors in for most of the movie, so you get that claustrophobic effect as well. I mean, we got to talk about its pivotal moment too, that even the actors weren't in on it, which I love.
Yeah.
That I was like, that's messed up. I was like, Ridley, that's effed up. But like when xenomorph, or like that chest bursting scene is still one of my, I mean, it's just something to behold. Watch people who still to this day have not seen Alien
Yep.
and are experience it. Like, I love that because they don't know what's coming and they're like, what? And just the pure shock and awe of that scene is so good. And then you get who, I can't remember, I think Alien, I don't know if Alien came out before Halloween, but either way, I think
After.
when I think after,
1
okay.
year after.
When I think of Final Girls, I think, I know a lot of people hate on sometimes Laurie Strode, maybe a co-host of mine, hates on Laurie Strode. There's so much when it comes to Final Girls that comes from, I believe, Laurie Strode and freaking Ripley. Like and Sarah like there's so much of their DNA that has carried through, and there are other Final Girls too. I'm just saying, like, when I think of some of the originals, Ripley is always up there. And I just thought like Sigourney was, I believe was that her first film role? I just know like it kind of like
off
it,
of Broadway.
yeah, it like catapulted her. And for good, I mean, of course, because she was fantastic in it. And I just, and then of course you've got the plot twist that we didn't realize when it came to Ash.
Right.
Like, that was another, like, we're so worried about the fucking alien. We didn't know we had this. Oh man, like, and like, oh, and also the
Ash is a
egg scene
goddamn
too.
robot.
Yes, like there's
That
just
line
so
reading
much
ingrained in my head.
like, oh, and probably my favorite jump scare of actually the Alien franchise is just Dallas in the corridors. I don't think they've yet to beat that jump scare. Like, there are jump scares in the franchise, but that was one of the best. It is the best. Like, it's so it's just such a tense moment, and they do it so well. Like I just love it. Yeah. And you don't even see him get killed. Like that's what's the beauty of it, and you're still terrified. Oh my God.
The lead up to that scare is masterful.
Oh
The
yes.
motion sensor, and Lambert, played beautifully by Veronica Cartwright. It's heading right towards you. You got to get out of there. And it's like, and then he does, and then it's right there. I'm like, oh my God.
It's so good. Oh, I just when people like I tell people all the time, like, if you've not seen it, to me it is like I was talking to a couple people, and one of them was like, I kind of want to get into older horror films because they typically haven't, haven't seen anything, before maybe mid 80s or so. I'm like, you're missing a world of great horror. And this is one of them. I'm like, you just got to see this. Like, trust me, like it holds up to this day. It's terrifying. It's so well made, and it's really practical effect. Like, I love practical effects. That's my biggest thing. Like, people probably hate Terrifier because it's ultra gory. I go, yeah, but it is a lot of practical effects. And I love that. And Alien, oh yeah. So that's when I think of Alien, I there's so much more, but I think of great storytelling, incredible acting for a genre film that, again, people still, genre films aren't often rewarded for their acting, which is a shame. But in the set design too. God, that set design.
Oh yeah. But I do want to just shout out the Alien cast, because I think if this was a drama, and it is, kind of is a drama, in some ways. But if Alien was like a domestic drama in, I don't know, northern Minnesota, that cast gets nominated for like the SAG Ensemble Award.
Yeah.
And I mean,
could see that.
Sigourney Weaver, obviously now she is a movie star.
Yes.
But like Sigourney Weaver, Veronica Cartwright, Tom Skerritt, John Hurt, Harry Dean Stanton, Ian Holm, Yaphet Kotto. I got everyone, I think.
I think. I'm so terrible with names. So yes, most likely.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Ripley, Lambert, Dallas, Brett, Parker, Ash. Jonesy. What? I can't remember the man who played the Xenomorph. I can't remember his name. I see his face. I see like the behind the scenes images so clearly. He passed away very young, unfortunately. I mean, he brought the alien to life. He should
He
be
did.
honored with the cast. I feel horrible. I can't remember his name at the moment, but he should be honored as well. It's my favorite cast of the Alien franchise, and just one of my favorite casts in any movie, really.
I would agree. It's oh my God. I do. I love the movie. It will always hold a special place in my heart, but also it's one I can always watch.
It does not get old. I just watched it the day before Alien Romulus came out for me.
Mm-hmm.
Third time I watched it this year.
I love that.
I have a little tradition where every January 1st I put on a movie, and it's the first movie of the year, and it's gonna be a movie that means something to me that year. So this year was Alien, because I knew this is going to be the year of Alien. 45th anniversary, new Alien film coming out. Easy. For 2023, I picked Jurassic Park because it was the 30th anniversary. I believe for 2022, I started the year with E.T., which had its 40th. So next year, so for 2025, 2025, I already know what it is. I'll say it too. It's going to be Jaws. Jaws is turning 50.
Oh, okay.
It's going to be a Jaws year. But, and these are a lot of my favorite movies of all time. So I'm a big fan of Alien. I saw it when it did the April re-release.
Mm-hmm.
I, I went and saw it in theaters, and then so like 3 times this year already, and it hasn't gotten old.
It's a movie that again, it holds up so well.
And if it didn't have any sequels or a franchise or crossovers or comic books, video games, I still think it would be considered one of the greatest movies.
Oh yeah. Are you kidding me? Absolutely.
But it does have sequels, and now we're going to move on to 1986. We get to talk about my boy, Big Jim. I'm a huge James Cameron fan.
Oh, well, that's awkward. But I will say, Aliens, though, was a fantastic follow-up to the original because it really brought in, it was a little bit more action horror, and it also certainly did better at, or well, not better, it actually started to do world building, which I loved. And you had a whole new host of characters, and you had a ton of aliens this time. Oh my God, it was Xenomorphs galore. And the action sequences were so fun. We're not going to talk about, the actress who was in Brownface. That was, that's, ugh, I don't know why, I don't know what they were thinking when they did that.
It's
Um,
not the only big movie to do that.
do that, of course. Absolutely, it's not.
Lost
But
World,
I still like
Jurassic
to.
Park, Steven Spielberg, which came out 10 years after Aliens, too.
I just
And it
want to
was,
like call that out. Like that's still
but
something I'm
yeah,
like, ugh. But it was honestly, it was a thrill ride. It really
yeah.
was. It, it had great horror moments, like again when Newt and Ripley are like trapped and you got that face hugger. Oh my God,
That
that
is my
scene
favorite
was,
part of the movie.
holy Jesus, the so tense. Like, oh my God. Um, and again, you get some gnarly deaths. You had an awful, awful villain, Paul Reiser, but you get to finally see the Queen. And my God, you don't even know the scope or the size, in my opinion, until that moment when she
Yeah.
rips Bishop in half,
Oh,
and you're just like, oh, like I just remember that moment and be like I was
yeah.
speechless. I was like, holy wow, how are we gonna do this? And then I also love where you find out that they're intelligent as like, oh
Yeah.
wow, like I was just like, okay, hold up, there's more to them, and it was so cool. And obviously, I'm terrible remembering lines. It's either, is it "get away from her, you bitch," or
You got it.
yeah, okay. Like I'm like, I love that. Like that's an iconic moment, and it's of
It is
course
the
when
most
she's in that
quotable in the franchise, for sure.
she's in that like machine, and she's like,
Yeah.
oh my God, what a oh, like it just it was. Would I have loved it to be a little bit more horror? Sure. But man, did I like every time I watch it though, I'm like, gosh, this is such a good it's a good movie. So James Cameron, I can still hate you, but this was a good movie. And I'm never gonna watch Titanic. I don't need to. But
Okay.
T2,
Okay.
T2, you did good. You did real good. And there are still people I know to this day who have not seen Terminator 2. I'm calling out some other hosts. But Terminator 2, that is a sequel that surpassed its original. I won't say Alien surpassed Alien, but Aliens is fantastic.
I gotta say about Aliens, I like it a lot. The Xenomorph Queen is one of my favorite things
Yes.
ever. Bishop is one of my favorite characters in the franchise. I love Lance Henriksen, and him as Bishop is just awesome. I don't care for the direction it took the series.
I could understand that. Absolutely. Because it definitely took more of an action approach versus
Yeah.
horror.
And I appreciate it because it made Alien a very mainstream franchise. Not quite Star
Mhm.
Wars or Marvel, you know. I don't think it's a franchise like that, but the average film goer knows Alien.
Yeah, and I think Sigourney got well, I think she
Did.
had two best acting noms, and so I think they lumped it together. Someone was telling me that because I think it was for Gorillas in the Mist and Aliens. I go, oh, that's crazy, but something
Oh,
like that.
weird.
Somebody was telling me something. I was like, oh, but either way, like, I yeah, I agree. It definitely it took it into a direction I wasn't expecting, but it still has like iconic moments.
Oh yeah,
Um
it's a great movie.
and I love certain concepts that they continue to carry forward, but I could certainly understand that.
And there's the great debate where it's like you either Alien is your favorite or Aliens is your favorite. And and there are people like Alien Resurrection's my favorite. I'm like, that's nice. Go sit over there. The grill
That
marks
would
are
be me.
calling
I'd be
me.
like, you can get out of here. You get there's the door. I will tell you all right now, there's the door.
I don't care if it's your number two, but number one, let's be honest with ourselves here. No, I'm kidding. But
No, if it's in your top three, there's the door.
but but with Alien and Aliens, for me, I feel like the reason why it goes between the two is because Aliens is far more mainstream.
Yeah, and I think
It's more
sometimes,
accessible
yeah,
to the average
I would
moviegoer.
say that when Aliens came out too, it feels like more people probably saw it first before they saw
Yeah.
Alien. Because
Mhm.
as you said, it definitely caters to more, and I completely get that. So look, I'm happy when people are like they either like Alien or Aliens. I'm happy that they look at that and they still appreciate it,
Yeah.
here in 2024. So I totally get it. Like people, because I've debated people too. Those Aliens is better. I go again, matter of opinion. But
Yeah.
hey, I'm just happy you enjoy it. Because
And I think
I mean, I have heard people who said they hated aliens. I'm like, that's a hot take if I've heard one. Okay, all right.
I wouldn't go that far. Like, because I do have like critiques of Aliens, but I still think it's like a solid 4-star movie.
Yeah,
Like,
it never
someone
lets
puts it on.
down.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I do love it, but I love the franchise, but I think there's like a big gap between Alien and Aliens.
I do as well. I think
Yeah.
again, Aliens is definitely more about world building, in my opinion, and so I don't think there was a huge focus on the characters as much as I would have liked. But again,
Right.
we got some really cool xenomorphs, and again, the Queen, like it's still that design.
Yes.
It's so
Oh,
terrifying, and again, the Bishop scene is the coolest thing. That's probably aside from the chest bursting scene and one spoilerish scene, which I won't, if people haven't seen Romulus, so I don't want to ruin that. Like,
oh, thank you.
like that Bishop scene definitely is up there with one of the craziest kills in the franchise, and I think they got away with it too because, again,
It's the goo, like the milky.
instead of
Yeah.
blood, they could
Mhm.
do that. But
And I'm pretty
I'm
sure
just
they put
like,
that in Mortal Kombat when the alien was the downloadable character in Mortal Kombat
mm-hmm.
X. That was one of the fatalities.
Oh, it
Was the
was,
Queen
and
would come
it's
up and rip out like
mm-hmm.
I don't know Johnny Cage or
Yeah.
Scorpion.
It's just so cool. Oh my God. It is so freaking cool. It is
Yeah,
just and I and that's why like those two, I'll tell you right now, those two are my top two favorites. It's Alien and Aliens. The rest of my ranking will change. Well, it has changed since seeing
I gotta say
Romulus.
one of them's my top one. The other one is a little lower, but
That's fair.
this is a hot take episode. And it's like okay, but a lot of the alien movies are like they go back and forth and but
I
as
don't
of my current rewatch, I have one as my number two that a lot of people are gonna be like, really, Austin? And I'm being like, fuck yeah.
Okay, I can't wait to hear what that one is. And if it's Resurrection, that's on you.
Okay, so it was nice having you. No, I'm kidding.
I will respect it. This is your show. I'm just gonna let you know. I'm so sorry.
I actually do like not to get ahead of ourselves. I do like Resurrect. On my rewatch, I'm like, oh, I actually dig this, but
Is it
it is not high in
is
my
it
rankings.
Alien 3?
We'll get to it.
Oh, okay.
It's not. It's not. I'll spoil because we're about to jump into Alien 3. But before we do, I forgot to shout this out in the original Alien. Jerry Goldsmith for the original Alien, James Horner for Aliens, both 5 out of 5 star scores. Though the
Yeah.
music in those movies, my only
Mm-hmm.
complaint with Aliens musically is I wish there was a little bit more continuity between the two.
Sure.
But James Horner is going to do James Horner things, and I'm okay with it because that music's like, especially like when Bishop's being, what's the scene called? Queen takes Bishop, which I love.
Oh,
Like,
I didn't know
people
that.
call it
That's
that at
cool.
something.
Oh
There's like this really cool, like the trumpets are like,
my God, I love that.
right? But like the trumpets are doing this really fast, like this scary stuff, and the low brass, boom, boom, boom. Like it's so cool, and I love that technique. It's very brassy, and as a trumpet player
Mm-hmm.
myself, I love when a score gets brassy. It doesn't get much brassier than Aliens, even though I prefer Alien because it's Alien. I think is a more of a horror score and very aggressive. I mean, Jerry Goldsmith, who also did the score for The Omen, which I think is one of the
Oh,
best scores ever made.
I love The
I
Omen.
love The Omen. It's so
That
primal and visceral.
Such a good. Oh my God, it's all for you. Oh my God, such a great scene.
And his score for Alien, like the scene where the xenomorph kills Lambert and Parker, that is some of my favorite music in any movie.
I love that.
I
love it.
love that score, but yeah, Aliens is also, and then like the Bishop's Countdown music, where it's basically the Mars Bringer of War, but like James
Mm-hmm.
Horner-fied. And it was played in like every trailer ever in the 90s and early 2000s.
That's true.
I love it. I love James Horner. Rest in peace. I love Jerry Goldsmith. I love music. I love film scores. But we got to talk about Alien Grunge. I mean, Alien 3.
People shit on this film far too much, and I just don't get it.
Are you a defender?
I am, because
Yes.
let me talk about, the way it kind of went back, because Alien 3 went back to its horror roots. And that's why I really I obviously I don't, for me it used to be 1, 2, and 3. Like I thought they were great films. Yeah, there was a decline going down, but 3 was still really good just because it went back to just nasty and gnarly roots. And then you also get back to the whole stranded isolation vibes. Not so much, I would say, claustrophobic scenes,
Right.
but you also get a different looking xenomorph, which I enjoy. I remember when that movie came out and you had like they really put out some crazy action figures and it was like a crab alien. I remember that alien was cool, but it's basically the dog alien, like it was so cool and had a great jump scare, like nasty sequence. And one that sometimes gets memed a lot too is also really great is when the alien gets that close to Ripley and we're all like, why are you not killing her? And then of course, which I thought was a beautiful swan song, and I know some people hate that, but Ripley knew what she had to do, and she'll be damned if she's gonna let this like greedy corporation get their hands on this, essentially what they wanted to turn into a killing machine, like all the stuff. And she's like, no, you're not getting your hands on it. I'm going to kill myself or unalive myself and kill this alien in the process. And I was like, that's amazing. And was it David Lynch? I get David Fincher and David Lynch. Fincher. I get those two mixed up sometimes. David Lynch is Twin Peaks. David Fincher's
this is
elsewhere.
Seven, Zodiac, Gone Girl. Yep.
And I loved the direction it was going towards. It didn't carry to the next one, in my opinion, but I do think 3 just went back to that despair I don't feel like despair when I watch Aliens, and I think it's more because of the actiony vibes. And I was like, oh, I'm having
Right.
fun, like adrenaline.
Yeah.
Whereas this, it gets back to terrifying, effed up, and I really enjoy Alien 3. And I also remember the poster. I remember walking it. Actually, again, I remember this very fondly because I didn't know there was an Alien 3 coming out because I had,
Mhm.
I was still very young. I think was
Yeah.
that 93, I believe. And I remember
so.
we're walking in the mall. I won't say where because then that dox myself on that one. But I remember the mall setup. It was the old theater, the way how the mall, because the mall had a theater attached, but it had a different entrance kind of thing. Well, it had its own entrance. And you just had this. I just remember like it's opening all this, and because the arcade was right here, but then the theater, and then you can go to the mall. And I just remember looking over, I go, what? And because I was with my dad, we were going to see something, and I was like, Alien 3? I go, there's a third one? And I remember the poster and the green vibes.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to go see that. He's like, it's rated R. I go, and when has that stopped me? He's like, no, that's fair. He's like, point taken. And like, they took me to see Alien 3. Like, it was just so cool. Like, I remember
That's
just
awesome.
stopping in the theater and be like, there's another one. Like, oh my God. Because I don't remember seeing trailers or anything. And I just remember like the sheer joy and how excited I was. And I don't think the movie disappointed me. I think at the time I probably went in thinking it was going to get Aliens vibes, but then when I was like, whoa, no, this is taking a darker, serious tone. I go, I like from that, once I knew that was happening, I was like even more like, I'm ready.
I am so happy. I love when I see Alien 3 Defenders. I am
There's
not
not
one.
a lot of them.
I'm not one either, unfortunately. But I'm not an attacker. I will say that I'm not an attacker either. I don't think Alien 3 is as bad as a lot of people like to claim it is. I
Yeah.
do think it's a smart movie that got mangled in the execution because there were a lot of just from what I mean, obviously I wasn't there. I wasn't even alive when it was being made. I do know there's a lot of tensions, a lot of like the studio like ripped it from Fincher.
Oh, yeah. They wanted
Like,
different things, and
yeah.
yeah.
And a movie can't survive that. And I'm
No.
glad that it's getting a reappraisal with Romulus coming out and people revisiting the franchise. I'm a little surprised 3 didn't get its reappraisal when Covenant or Prometheus came out. Or maybe we're just in the social media, true in the social media age.
Well, Prometheus and Covenant, while they were,
I think Romulus actually got people excited, and
yeah, because
Prometheus and Covenant didn't.
Prometheus and Covenant are supposed to take before Alien,
Yeah.
and it doesn't have the look and feel of it taking place before. That's my biggest gripe about those two films is they do not fit in the universe in terms of look and feel. And that's what's crazy because then you see a movie like Alien Romulus and it's like we know the assignment. We want you to remember what it was like to be in this universe, and also it did really great world building as well, but it still had so many callbacks to how these ships looked. Yeah, like
Yeah.
that's, to me, that was, I think, the biggest flaw in Prometheus and Covenant. I was like, these ships look way too advanced for what, like, you didn't have to do that. And sure, movie making and all this, and they maybe were afraid that people wouldn't appreciate that, but I think it really took away from kind of the, I can't think of the word. It's not the glot. It took away from just the experience, in my opinion. Just my opinion.
It's fair.
And so yeah, no, I think that's why I don't think those generated. I think the only good thing that came, not the only thing, there were several good things, but I think what people still remember though is Michael Fassbender's performance as David, because that was fantastic. Like he's like, I'm going to give you 110%, even with the homoerotic flute scene that we all still love. But I'm just saying,
I love it.
Like, yeah, same. Like, but it was there was just like that performance though was cool, and some of the marketing and commercials they did with that was awesome. But aside from that, there were some good gross out moments and all that. But I don't know. There's just
But it didn't
I
have
think
a hype to it that Romulus.
no, but that's
So what?
because I think we saw
Yeah.
one who was attached. Like, don't
Right.
get me wrong. Like, the, I don't know. Prometheus and Covenant, they had Covenant especially, but they had issues. But yeah, I think you know Fede when he talked about it, he's like, I want to honor it. I want to still put my mark on this universe. He's like, but everything is still canon. And when he's like Alien Isolation, canon. I'm like, what?
And he meant it. He meant everything
He
was still canon.
did.
And
Like
that made me
I
happy
was
because I
just
was like, I don't want like when like Star Wars: The Force Awakens came out and there was a little bit of that prequel erasure. I'm like,
Mhm.
you can honor the originals without dissing on the pre, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if you're gonna make a love letter film, love it all.
Mm-hmm. The good and the bad. Like
Exactly.
it to me, it shows you did your homework. It
Right.
shows you really wanted to. Sure, you're some have said this about Romulus, which I could totally get where they're coming from. Too
Yeah.
much fan service. Even though for me being a huge fan of the franchise, like I want more, you know. But I
Sometimes it's
get
like
it.
I feel serviced.
Like I get it. Like I
Yeah.
totally understand when people are like, that was just a bit over the top. Like I was like, because some people didn't like Andy doing that line. I'm like, protect Andy at all cost. So,
That's funny because I like Romulus a lot. I'm
oh,
not, you know, Romulus
just
is
wait
one
till
of
we
my
talk about Robbins.
yeah.
But yeah,
Yep.
like, so I get that, and I just yeah, I
I do
think
got my
that's why
issues
there was
with it,
bigger
but
hype
yeah.
with Romulus versus Prometheus and Covenant. And I think because when Prometheus came out, it was like, hey, we're gonna tell you where the xenomorphs came from, all this.
Mhm.
And while we're like, cool, and then we saw like, huh, you know,
And I think now this could be a stretch. I'm very interested in what you think on this. I think the world kind of first off because of the 2020 pandemic, everything went even more into shit, right? But I think in a way we all became a bit more connected digitally, for better or for
mm-hmm.
worse. So Alien Covenant and Prometheus, especially Alien Covenant, since it's closer, being a pre-COVID movie, I think there's a trend now when a new movie of a franchise comes out, people start revisiting them and then putting their thoughts in a way that didn't really happen in the late 2010s. I feel like it's novel to
Hmm.
the
I could
past
see
couple of
that.
years.
Okay.
I think
I could see
Letterboxd
that.
blowing up during that
I don't
also
I have a
helps.
letterbox. I don't really use it. Y'all,
But
I'm old.
everyone, but now it seems that even if you don't use it, it seems like everyone at least has it or is aware of it. I think with it blowing
It
up, people, you know.
well, yeah, I do think too though with letterbox, which
Mhm.
I'm gonna like it to another thing I don't have TikTok. But I think some like reviews on Letterbox are actually genuine and
Yeah,
really like you can tell. But then you can see people are just putting out funny reviews just to like go viral. And I get that too, because it's a business, so I understand that, but uh
I do both.
it's
Just whatever I feel like.
but like they'll do like a one sentence review and it's
Yeah,
purposely just to get like, I hope this goes, I'm like, but I totally get that in the digital age where people will go back and revisit. But yeah, I don't know. There something about just Prometheus and Covenant. Like as excited as I was, I still remember the trailers. I wasn't overly excited when I saw the trailers.
right. That's
Whereas
fair.
when I saw the trailer for Romulus, I'm like, oh, oh no, 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 I need to see this. I need to see this
That's very
immediately.
fair.
And I have high hopes for the series, but we haven't seen much about it. So if they put out a trailer and I'm like, oh, and you kind of are giving me like Prometheus Covenant vibes, I'm gonna be a little like, ooh, I'm a little skeptical right now. But if it's still in the same vein, has that look, that tone, I'm like, okay, I'm excited, I'm ready. So we'll see.
I gotcha for sure. I think this is the biggest Alien has been in a long time. Maybe the
Yeah, I
biggest it's
don't
been in my
know if it'll
lifetime.
make 100 domestic. It's gonna flirt with it. I hope it does.
Well, it
I
made
know
60.
worldwide it's
It made 60 domestic opening weekend, right?
no, it made 41, 42.
Oh, okay.
Worldwide, it opened up a little bit over 80, which was good. But now I think it's already like over 100 something because I think it blew up in China. I think it's at like 55, which I
Okay.
did not see that coming. I mean, China is the next biggest box office
Right.
technically compared to ours. Um,
Well, we'll see if it has legs. I don't think it has any competition.
No, they're predicting it to be number one, like fight Deadpool for number one,
Yeah.
which both are gonna, which I love. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm
Yeah.
super excited. Give me more rated R movies that are doing exceptionally well at the box office.
Well, Strange Darling opens up this weekend. And I hope
I
it does well, but I don't
sadly,
think it's a competitor. Not
no,
for box
sadly,
office.
yeah, I hope it does well for the movie. I hope
Right.
it exceeds expectations, honestly.
Yes.
Truly, like people, it is like I'm probably gonna watch the screener again tonight.
I yeah. I am gonna reel us back in. Because at some point we were talking about Alien 3. And then we got all the way to Chloe Okuno's Watcher, which great movie, but I'm like,
Did you know
wait,
Alien's her favorite movie?
I did not know that.
I interviewed her and I asked her, I was like, what's your favorite
Oh, you
horror
did?
film? We did. Well, it was from because of VHS 94 came out
Oh,
and I
right.
was
Yeah.
obsessed with Hail Ratma. And then she told me the story even behind it, and that made me laugh because like the inspiration's hilarious. But we talked about it. And yeah, no, she's a huge Alien fan. And I'm like, and then we were bonding over that, being Japanese. Like it was crazy. Japanese. It was like, this is amazing.
Oh,
But
that's
yeah.
awesome.
So like, yeah, no. Um, but yeah, so Alien 3. I still enjoy it. It's a good movie. It's not my third pick anymore. But yeah. But I guess that means we gotta talk about Resurrection, huh?
Well, I'm actually going to, in the interest of time, because this episode is being very long, and we did talk about Resurrection and Alien versus Predator and Prometheus and Covenant.
Yeah.
I'm going to kind of speed round the last couple. I'm going to ask you one positive thing,
Oh,
one
I could
negative
do this.
thing,
Gotcha. Got
each
it.
one, and we'll start with Resurrection. What is your positive?
Positive. Even though people don't think that ending, I did not expect to feel for the alien like I did because that was like emotionally a little heartbreaking, which
And
is
brutal.
crazy. Right? Like that was like ooh,
Mhm.
ooh. And of
This might
course
be.
Sigourney, because I just love
Oh, yeah.
seeing her again.
My positive is the cast, the actual design and animatronics of the xenomorphs in this one.
Mm-hmm.
I think Resurrection low key has one of the best xenomorph looks and some of the best xenomorph shots.
Well, we got to see him actually underwater. That sequence was cool. I'll give
Yeah.
it that.
Yeah, and it's like the xenomorphs look amazing in Resurrection. I don't think it gets enough credit for that. And recently, if you were to ask me, I'd say Resurrection is the film that shoots the xenomorphs the best. Not shoot boom boom, but like photographs.
Yeah, no,
They look the
you
most
get to really
cinematic.
see it on display. Yeah.
But then Fede went and took that.
Yeah, you did.
Took that. So
You did.
but Resurrection, I still think the xenomorphs look great. What is a negative? Which I'm
The
sure you
story was bland.
like I said, I like all the Alien movies, and I do like Resurrection. Like that's one where I get the reappraisal for that one now. Like I'm part of that. I'm part of that bandwagon. I'll admit it, but I do think I agree with the story. I think it's messy. I think there are
Yeah.
interesting ideas, but like, I don't know. I just think it's so muddy, and it starts
It
from
didn't know what it wanted to be, honestly, which is a shame.
because I think it's
Like,
actually pretty well directed,
yeah, but you bring back
but it's a
Sigourney
mess.
Weaver and
Yeah.
we get a messy movie, and it's just like, oh, did we want that though?
And I feel like there are choices where it's like it feels like they were taking like ideas from a hat.
Yeah.
It's an interesting movie, and I think I'm at the point of my life where I will appreciate a movie more if it's weird, not necessarily good, but weird.
It still needs to stick the landing, and I think that one had trouble.
That's fair. That's fair. But the last time I watched it, I was surprised with how much I enjoyed it.
It's got a really inventive kill that I enjoyed. I'll give it that.
Let's move on to Alien versus Predator.
I have a huge thing that we don't get to see enough of, and that is horror in the winter or snow.
Yes.
So the fact that we got to see that and that like that third act was a
Mhm.
banger in my
Oh yeah.
opinion. I loved that third act. I mean, honestly, the fight sequences as well with the xenomorph and the predator, like, oh, they knew what they needed to do. And again, that the story may not have been there, but they made up for it in so many other ways. And I
Yes.
think they knew, like, we're just going to give you a fun action creature feature. And they did, in my opinion. And I think Sanaa Lathan, she was awesome,
Oh
especially when
yeah.
she's got the alien, the xenomorph head
The
as like a
shield.
shield
Yeah,
and the
yes,
spear.
yes.
I'm like, ugh. That movie had no right to be as fun as it is. And
Yes.
it's something I can easily revisit. And it, to me, I don't think when I watch it, I just go, I want to have fun.
It is the perfect rainy Saturday afternoon movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah,
like,
no, I
oh,
completely agree.
yeah, that's what it is for, or like a perfect hotel movie where if you're on
Yeah.
a trip and you're scrolling through the channel, oh shit, Alien versus Predator just started. I don't need to flip anymore.
No, I could watch it at any point in the movie and be just as
Mm-hmm.
like I know I'm gonna have a fun time.
Exactly. I don't have a negative for it.
I
I honestly
actually
don't.
don't as well. Again, I'm not saying it's a perfect film,
No.
great story, anything like that. It's a popcorn film. Like it's
Yeah.
the perfect popcorn film in terms of you can go turn your brain off and just have fun. And sometimes we need that. And sometimes that's why like that's the power honestly when it comes to great TV or film is because it gives you that escape. And that movie has that. So,
And
yeah.
I do think it has something that the other Alien movies can't really have. I think an Alien movie needs to be thematically interesting for it to
Yes.
work as an Alien movie, just because Ridley Scott's original masterpiece just it set
Yeah.
the template. So,
Absolutely.
but Alien versus Predator can get away with what's our theme? Our theme is Alien versus Predator.
That's what we want to see. We're here for the grudge match, like, or the
Mhm.
cage match. That's what we want.
Because it just borrows from like Frankenstein meets the Wolfman and Godzilla versus King Kong. I mean, or King
Exactly.
Kong versus God. It just borrows from that, and it helps that it came out the year after Freddy versus Jason. Alien,
That's
I
another guilt. That's a guilty pleasure. I love that movie.
I'll say it this way: the Alien is a franchise. The Alien versus Predator is a B movie.
Yes. Yeah.
I get why it's low on a lot of people's lists because of that reason, but I just cannot deny my inner 10-year-old child. All right, let's get this one out of the way. AVP 2.
Well, it's a movie.
I'm
Um uh
positive it's a Pred Alien.
yeah, that was cool. I had to say that was fun. Had I been here's the thing, because I liked the lead. It again, if you could see the movie, it was very darkly lit. They had some issues, in my opinion, with that, which sucks because there was a really great scene that I know they wanted to probably really pull off for scares, but you could barely see the like. I was like, you guys are you fumbled right there. But for most part, the cast was just eh. It had some fun moments because it was rated R, but I think they thought that because it was rated R, we're gonna kind of throw in these things to distract you from the fact that we just really wanted to put out a sequel because we thought it would get money, and it didn't.
You got to learn. You have to put effort, you know?
The first Alien versus Predator, in my opinion, put effort. They said we want more people to see this, so we don't need to go hardcore gore because you just want to see these two monsters duke it out. Whereas that one, we really didn't get to see what we wanted to see, in my opinion. And that I'm not even making from like, could you see the film? I mean that in general. I felt like a lot was just, it was very lackluster, sadly.
And I think a lot of times with studio films, you can tell when they just put it out quickly just because they wanted to make
that felt like it was a very quick, like, yeah.
And when it's that kind of situation, I feel bad for the filmmakers because no one goes in being like, I want to make a bad Alien versus Predator movie, you know?
No,
But when sometimes you're just doomed from the start because a movie was, you see it with a lot of remakes.
Yeah, that's very true. It's either rushed or it's has
If
no
it comes from
soul.
yeah, because it comes from a place where we just want to make money.
Yep.
And no amount of effort or anything can save a movie from that. But with Alien Romulus, and I'm gonna put Prey in this as well.
Prey was so good.
It felt like 20th Century was more like, yes, we want to make money with these, but these need to be right because we want these franchises to endure.
It's a shame that Prey went direct. Like, it still blows my mind that Romulus was supposed to go to Hulu.
And the first Omen.
Like that, like it baffles me because again, that's also because they didn't know how good, like they didn't know they were sitting on bangers, in my opinion. And I get that because sometimes genre films, it's a shame,
Alien
but
Covenant didn't do hot at the box office. The Predator was no bueno.
Yeah.
Critically and commercially not well received.
Yeah. But like Prey, I would have loved it. Now I think when Prey also though, that was during pandemic as well though. So
well, Top Gun Maverick was making bank that summer.
Yeah, no movie was gonna stand a chance. So I get that.
Prey would have. I think Prey walked so Romulus could run.
I'll agree to that.
I'm so happy to see Alien and Predator like
having a resurgence, honestly, which is great because
as a fan of both, yeah.
I think as later films in these franchises, because of how they were received, honestly, because of Covenant, no way in hell did I think we were getting another Alien movie.
Right. Speaking of which, Prometheus.
Oh, easy. David was much better. There was more in the second one, but so for Prometheus, I loved the I guess abortion scene in a sense. That was gnarly. Yeah. And I think she's a great actress. So yes. Like, oh my god, that scene was so, oh my gosh. I was like, what? And the negative, honestly, and this is so silly, but it's my biggest gripe. Like, the look and feel does not feel Alien, universe wise, and mainly though, Charlize, really, you couldn't pick a side to run to. You just kept running down the middle. What? I can't. And that's, oh my god, I can't. And that was dumb.
Covenant.
I will say I enjoy Catherine Waterston, and honestly, I think Covenant had much better action sequences because that ending was really cool. I thought it had its good. She had a really awesome final girl moment kind of thing, but the negatives, good God, the second they stepped onto that planet was like the character choices were so stupid. I'm sorry. Like, I don't care in what world you can sit here and say, oh, they got breathable. I would not be taking off my helmet just yet. What? And they made so many awful, like, I can't. But it looked good and you had some cool scenes. But yeah, Covenant is I enjoy it mainly because I do like that final act. But also, when they released the movie, they had like a 10-minute like prequel
Yeah, I remember
thing,
that.
which they should have just kept in the movie. And I guarantee, in my opinion, had you left that in the movie because they cut because I was like, it would have added more depth and maybe you could have bonded with these characters instead of just immediately offing them as you did, because then I didn't care about any of these characters. Whereas
Right.
this
That's
gave them a
fair.
little bit of a backstory and you learn to love and really, you know, that was crazy to me. I was like, you guys sabotage yourself on that one.
Yeah, I feel that. I think that's fair. Finally, Romulus.
Wow. This film was everything I wanted. It went back to the horror route and it was so incredible. Like it looked like it was in the universe, the alien universe, and it still continued to build on the build upon the world that we knew. And of course, we had Wayland Yutani being this corporation that just chose obviously greed over just humans. A lot of corporations do, but it's ever more like just in this opening. Oh, I'm sorry, they upped the limit. I was like, dang. Oh God. I was like, man, that's horrible. And like I enjoyed the story, but
Yeah.
it really was just on edge. And the scene, oh, all those face huggers. Oh my God, that scene. I couldn't breathe. I was just that was insane. But also protect Andy like at all costs. Like David Johnson was incredible. He was the heart and soul of that film. And it really just added so much because he played dual roles, in my opinion. And
Yes.
I loved that. I love when an actor can do that. And he did it to where I was just like, wow. So the entire time you just want to give him a hug, and then you're like, oh, you're kind of menacing now. I'm gonna
Yeah.
back up.
I
And
kind
I
of don't
love
want to hug
that.
you
Like,
anymore.
I was like, whoa, like this is
Yeah.
it was so, oh my gosh. And that sequence with the the gravity and the acid. Oh my
Mm.
God, a thing of beauty. That actually, when that they light that hall up, I was like, oh, there's just so much. Like this movie really was like, we want you to have fun, but we want you to be terrified while also giving you characters you care about. And even more so, whereas I remember somebody told me, like, oh, we know they're gonna do like a chest bursting scene. Okay, sure. But you can't tell me that wasn't a thing of beauty to watch.
Right.
Like, way to
Because
take
there's
something and
yeah.
give us something that I was just like, oh, oh, yeah, okay. And even the third act, which I know is very divisive,
I don't
I was like,
understand why. I
this is
really don't.
absolutely batshit bonkers, and I love every minute of it. I really, really did.
It actually reminded me of Alien Resurrection.
I get that, and I
And
was okay with that.
that's earlier saying where I'm like, if you're gonna make a love letter, I want you to love all of my franchise,
Mm-hmm.
warts and all.
No, I completely agree. Like, I really enjoyed it. Also, the two birth scenes, in a sense,
Yeah.
that was crazy.
And Kaylee Spaney as Ray, she's gonna be a movie star.
I think, yeah. I mean, because what she was in Civil War, which a lot of
Hmm.
people liked. Eh,
I didn't
I
see
have
it.
gripes.
I can't
But
can't say either
I
way.
she really, I think this is kind of her year to be in
Yeah.
two films that have become, well, Civil War became like, I think, was that A24?
It was A24. Yeah.
So it's their second biggest film ever. It got very dangerously close to Everything Everywhere All at Once. But which still, again, I think for a studio like that to still be able to, I love that for you.
Yeah.
And then you've got this that has revitalized a franchise and put you
Yes.
front and center. I love it for you. I really do. And I hope, like, I don't know where the series or where the franchise goes, but I would be I would be open to seeing more of both of those two leads again.
When she goes, I have to deny your petition. Have a nice day. Mm, I was like, yes, yes. That was like because that was so cold. I loved it. I loved that. I I appreciate a callback here and there, but ultimately, I want my new characters to have their own moments, and that was
Yeah.
like her moment, or one of her moments. And
I mean,
then,
she was
yeah,
really good.
I'm going to say it carefully because I don't want to. This is not a spoiler episode. Maybe light spoilers, but when the xenomorph has its classic kill,
Mm-hmm.
and there's one at like the homage to the classic alien shot, and then you look over and it's revealed there are more, and that's in the trailer that there's more xenomorphs, and that's taken from Aliens.
That's so cool. It's oh my goodness, it's so
I was
cool.
like, that was great callbacks in the cinematography, bringing the two together, and then also it brings in elements of Alien 3 and Resurrection. Prometheus and Covenant have really big impact on it, which I was
Yes.
surprised by, and it
Mm-hmm.
made me very happy. There's even a little bit of Alien versus Predator. Fede's a fan, and
Yeah,
Fede's
he
smart.
said he has ideas for an Alien versus
Yes,
Predator. I'm like, I would
I just
now
know
definitely like to see that.
that was intentional.
Yeah.
Uh,
He did
so
say a lot of the things he put in there, it he's like, trust me, he's like, if you believe it, it's probably true, kind of thing. Like, and I love that. I really do. Because yeah,
yes,
there was just like, oh, again, there was like that first person thing that felt very Alien Isolation as well. And I was like, wow, that's phenomenal. And visually, it's a stunning film with,
yes,
again, the set design on Alien Romulus did not disappoint. And that's why when I think of prequels and all that, or in this case, something. Actually, I'm going to kind of give a callback to Saw 10, because that was fantastic. How it took something where I didn't think I would care to see something that took place between this and this, but you made me care. Minus that heinous wig, but we get it. You know, but you did, like, Saw 10 was really fantastic for being
yeah.
the 10th in a franchise and for really making us be like, I want to see more of this. And that's what Romulus has also done. It's like you looked at the original, you still made your own while paying homage and expanding it even further. And I want to see more. So I really hope, I just hope that if they do another film, he should be attached, because he's got the right idea, and I think we would benefit from it.
And I think Fede's the first Alien filmmaker to have grown up with the Alien franchise.
Oh yeah, no, that would be true.
Because obviously Ridley Scott didn't grow up with it.
Yeah.
James Cameron didn't grow up he probably liked Alien when he saw it, but he was a man when Alien came out.
Yeah.
David Fincher might have been a young man, maybe a teenager when Alien came out, but I don't think that's like, I don't know I don't think that's growing up with Alien. I always forget his name, who directed Resurrection, but he
Don't
directed
actually remember.
Amelie. Um,
Oh,
mhm.
I
He's
don't remember his
French,
name. Yeah,
but
but
I don't know if he would have grown up with it. He would have been younger when Alien came out, but I don't know. It's the same thing with David Fincher. And then Paul W.S. Anderson, maybe he grew up with Alien, but I don't think he grew up with the franchise
yeah.
because
I
he's
you
at
know,
least 10 years older than Fede.
yeah. I would hope that, I don't know. I hope Fede, if they make another one, he's the first person they contact. And if this ends up continue to bring in the money it does, yeah, I feel like they would.
I I don't imagine they're going to give it to anyone else. And if they did, there's only one person I would want them to give it to that's not Fede, and it's me.
Oh, okay. Work.
But that being said, is a little bit more experienced than me in everything, and I trust him. I got a few more films to make before I can probably handle the Alien franchise, but one day, well, I'm manifesting
Okay.
it. Got to dream big, right?
I mean, yes, absolutely. You should always, because you never know. Honestly, you don't.
Exactly. You just got to put it out in the universe, and whatever happens, happens. But can't be negative about it, or else it won't happen. I believe that.
That's actually true.
I believe that. So, but yeah, I love this franchise. Clearly, you do too. Do you still want to give your rankings?
I mean, I think it's pretty obvious. Like AVP 2,
Mhm.
bottom of the barrel, then Resurrection. And then it would be 1, 2, Romulus, and then 3, and then I would actually put no, and then Prometheus and then Covenant. Covenant would almost have the edge, but again, it was just there was so much that Covenant just got so wrong, which
So
is a shame.
it would be one. So Aliens, Romulus, three, Prometheus, Covenant, AVP, Resurrection,
Oh
AVP
shoot,
two.
AVP. AVP is actually before Prometheus and Covenant.
Oh, okay. So three
Yeah, yeah. Sorry,
AVP,
sorry, sorry. Oh my
the
goodness.
prequels. I
Yeah, sorry.
respect that.
AVP is
I
like
respect that.
because it's a fun again, it's a film that is just you're gonna have a good time with. You don't
Yes.
have to think. I just want to see some kick-ass action, some cool stuff, and you get what you're asking. You get all of that.
But I got one last question for you because it wouldn't be my show if I don't ask it. Because of what your favorite alien film is, I'll put it in the context of the original. If you found yourself on the Nostromo and an alien life form is now loose in your ship, upon meeting the xenomorph, would you die?
Oh yeah. Are you
Yep.
kidding me? Absolutely. Especially if it's that age. If we thinking about the movie, I'm Asian. I'm not surviving. No, and queer. God no. I think I'd live for you know what? I think I'd make it part the way through, but I think I'd be somewhat clever. And then you know what? I would probably yeah. I would be smart enough. Let me tell you this. I would not go near that egg. Mm-mm.
Hell yeah.
I would run from the xenomorph, but I do feel like yes, it would catch up with me because yeah, no, at least this age and state. Yeah. God no. Maybe my younger years I could I don't know. Yeah, most likely I'd die.
I'm not Ripley. I would die too. I love asking the would you die question because, like, sometimes my guests come up with these great answers and then I'll play along and I'll come up. But sometimes it's just so easy to say no, I wouldn't. No, no, yeah, yeah, I would die. I would not survive.
Are you
This is
kidding
the
me? It's
xenomorph.
like like if I were to say scream and you're like, would you? I'd be like, hell yeah, because I'd be calling the cops and
But yeah, there are
uh
things you could, there.
yeah, like you could tell me like there's like a serial killer out there, and guess what? I'm never on my phone. I just have the hip. Like But you tell me I'm stuck on the Nostromo, and I've got this creature, and on top of that, they barely had any weapons. No,
Right.
I'm dead.
There's
Absolutely. Or
like
I'd
a
blow up the
handful
ship
of.
and let myself go with it. I'm that petty. I'm like, you know what? You're not gonna get me.
There's
I'm
a
still gonna
handful of
die.
monsters where I'm like, it's an instant death sentence, and the xenomorph is one of them. I think Jason's one. Jason
Yeah,
Voorhees.
I wouldn't survive that.
Most iterations of Michael Myers is an instant death.
I'd get the hell out of that town. I would never stay in that town. Absolutely.
He'll catch up. He'll at his own pace, but he will.
He doesn't
Um,
leave Haddonfield.
but there are some where it's like, yeah, like Pennywise. You mean roast the shit out of him? Yeah, Pennywise ain't doing shit to me.
Yeah, same.
Like I played Xbox 360, Halo 3 back in the day. I could be mean. So like Pennywise I could survive. Predator. I would survive Predator, and I'll tell you why. Because look at me. No sport. There's no honor. Predator wouldn't register me. I am such
Oh.
a non-threat. He will walk past me.
Ooh.
And I'm not like Lance Henriksen in AVP, where I'm like, oh, I'm gonna
I
get your
generate too much
attention.
body heat. He's gonna see me a mile away.
But it's like he might see you, but will he register you as a threat?
I mean, let me put it this way. If I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna go out swinging. And I would honestly say, yes, I would have a gun and I would try and shoot the predator. Would I hit? Absolutely not. So you know what
Then
that
the
means.
predator might, yep.
I'm done. So yeah, no, because look, I will always go down fighting. I probably
Not
just
me.
won't win.
The predator will walk past me. I'll be like, yeah, cool. I'll take this is a win.
Yeah, no, I would one I would do anything and everything in my power to get away. And yeah, if that's if that's what causes me to meet my maker, that's what's gonna cause me to meet my maker.
So I love how we ended our alien episode the only way you could, by talking about Predator.
This is your reminder. Watch AVP. It's actually fun.
Where can the people find you?
I'm on Twitter. You can find me at Osaka. Well, not Osaka. Osuka. However you want. It's not a real word, y'all. So just look it up. The Horror Hour TV as well on Twitter and then on YouTube. And our podcast is out there, but it's more of a YouTube podcast because we haven't really put it out on those devices anymore. We should, but we'll get to it. We're just really busy. But yeah, so those episodes, I think this last episode, I don't remember the title of this last one. I knew the one before that, but we do have one coming up. I'm not sure when this will air, but it's kind of I can't spoil that just yet. You'll see. It's got me, Jay, and Chu, and then I think the one that dropped most recently was George and Pugga, and then Liam and I have one coming up. But yeah, you can find me at the Horror Hour TV. That's where I am mostly.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining the show today. This has been a blast and a half. And podcast over, man. Podcast over. Thank you for listening to today's episode. Thank you, Yutaka, for joining me to talk everything Xenomorph. Recording this episode was so much fun, and I love Alien. If you like this show or my other horror endeavors, then I recommend subscribing to my Patreon. I retooled it so it's only $3 a month, and you'll get exclusive content, movie reviews, and extended episodes while supporting my art and content directly. And don't forget, if you are a patron, you can listen to the full, unedited, 3-hour version of this episode. So many tangents you can only find on Patreon. If you haven't already, subscribe to the Would You Die YouTube channel. There, you can watch video versions of the podcast episodes, my short film Ice Cream, and more to come. If you like this show, please let me know. Leave a review and rate on Spotify or Apple or wherever you listen to this show. Also, feel free to interact with me on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, wherever you're most comfortable. It may not seem like a lot, but trust me, every single like, share, comment, follow, it all helps this podcast to grow and helps keep me going. And feel free to let me know how I'm doing. What do you guys like about the show? Areas I can improve? Guests you'd like me to have on? Monsters you want me to talk about? Let me know what you guys think. You can find the show's social media on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Would You Die Show. Also, now you can follow me on TikTok at Would You Die Podcast. Would You Die is a partner with the Three Wise Men Media, a Metro Detroit-based group of awesome guys, Kyle, Tyler, and Dylan, where they bring you professional wrestling, indie comic books, and so much more. The music you hear in the beginning and end of each episode is composed by my friend, Josie Palmer. And thus we end Alien August. I had so much fun talking about one of my favorite franchises all month, and I hope you enjoyed listening to it. September is going to be a really fun month, and we started off by talking to one of the stars of VHS about a glorious deep cut from the 80s. Until next time, I'm Austin Torres. Try not to die.